No compliment lands quite like the dental hygienist telling you you're doing a great job. I'm Greg. He's Tom. It's your Saturday morning Stateline show, episode number 134. It's the 5th day of November, the year 2022, the latest it has ever been
in the history of mankind.
You made it. Congratulations. How you doing, buddy?
I'm okay. I'm all right.
Awesome.
All things considering.
All things considered.
Yep.
I'm a little bit psyched today because we get to do something that we get to do every fall.
Rake leaves.
On this week. No. We get to turn the clocks back an hour. Isn't that wonderful?
Yeah, and what are they talking about? Next year, when we turn them ahead again, we're going to stay that way. Is that what it is? They've been bouncing
That's
this
what I was
idea around.
Thinking.
Yeah, and I'm so tired of it. I hate it.
We're going to talk about that today because it's not set yet. Okay, it's stalled in the House. It passed the Senate, but it hasn't passed the House yet, and that's, I think, a good thing. So anyway, we'll touch on that in a minute. But first, let's get to our big number of the week, so I don't forget. Otherwise, I'll get on a train of thought and forget that we've got a big number of the week, and it's a nice big number this week: 16.7 billion. That's a big number. 16.7 billion is the big number of the week, and the answer this week is mattress or midterms. Mattress or midterms. We'll give you the answer by the end of the show. Our current race to 10 has Tom almost twice as many points as Joann. 7-4. That's a baseball score.
Yeah,
that
is a baseball score. Speaking
does
of which,
the World Series end tonight?
No. I think Philly wins tonight, but I think Houston beats them in Game 7. They're very evenly matched.
I heard Houston is 0-3 in Game 6s. They have never won a Game 6.
Well, here's the one thing Houston doesn't have going for them: their coach, Dusty Baker.
And you'll explain.
No, I'm telling you, he doesn't know how to really, truly manage a ball game or a pitching staff. I think this is the year he gets lucky and wins his World Series.
I think you're
just
right,
like
too.
Joe Madden. Joe Madden is very, very, very similar. Joe Madden got the Cubs a World Series. I get it. But it wasn't because he was such a great baseball guy. It was because he was a great people person, and he knew how to rally those guys. But after they won that World Series, they're like, okay, coach, we do anymore. We got this now. All he did was get in the way the year after, the year after that, the year after that. And then eventually 2019 rolls around. Sorry, Joe, we don't need you anymore. Because he quite frankly almost blew the World Series. Anyway, we're getting off track there. But I'm just saying, Dusty Blot like that, he is not the best X's and O's guy, and he does not know how to handle that. Now, he's got guys like Justin Verlander. I mean, he pitched an absolute gem. And then you had 4 guys, can't remember who they were, who combined on hitter. So maybe he's learning something.
Either. That was pretty epic, and I like Schwarber's response to that. Bleep, I don't care. It's the next game. Let's go. We're gonna beat him tomorrow. We're gonna beat Mr. Brooks. I guess that's kind of cool, but whatever. So, I can't root for the Phillies because whenever the Phillies win a World Series, the economy takes a crap. So history has shown when the Phillies win the World Series, our economy's tanking or is about to tank, and
it was 2000, 2008, and then
90 something. I forget what it was, but anyway, here we are, or 80 something, back in the 80s, 80 or 81. Then when they last.
Oh no, it was 1980. That's what I was. Yeah, that's right, 1980.
Let's see. Should we start with the daylight savings time thing? Yeah, why not? When you wake up tomorrow morning, you're going to be well rested. You're going to have a pocket full of sunshine. 48 states and the District of Columbia recognize daylight savings time comes to an end tonight at 2 a.m. That means a 25-hour day tomorrow. And of course, going forward, you're going to have a little bit darker evenings, but sun-splashed mornings. A study that was published this last Wednesday found the brighter work commute times are due to permanent standard time would actually save about $1.2 billion in collision costs from drivers hitting deer. It would prevent about 37,000 deer from being killed in the process. There's a strong argument to stay with daylight standard time, which is what we're going switching to. Unfortunately, back in March.
Yeah, go ahead.
The Senate passed the Sunshine Protection Act back in March, and they intend to protect sunshine by making daylight savings time permanent, because according to the senators who voted for this, they say their constituents have been flooding their phones with requests for more daylight in the evenings because they want to enjoy the outdoors recreationally and squeeze in more time for farming and stuff like that. But the U.S. has tried that before. Back in 1974, it flopped miserably. And after 4 months, the Congress approved permanent daylight standard time. That was scrapped. And so we just kept switching the clocks. And that's
I really hate it. I really do.
Yeah.
I just want to stay on daylight standard time. And now, okay, you and I, we both go back, 20 plus 30 years in radio. I started in radio in 92, 93. So I'm right on 30 years. Mm-hmm. Although we've kind of been out of it for the last couple. But nonetheless, as a producer, someone who has to book guests, you know how difficult it is. And I know you know this, how difficult it is to say, okay, Bob, we're going to have you on tomorrow then at 9 o'clock. Okay, 9 o'clock. Yes, I will be back. And all of a sudden something's lost in translation. 9 o'clock rolls around, we call, he's not there because he's in California or he's in Arizona or he's somewhere else. He's thinking, well, I was up at 9 and now it's 11. That's the problem that it creates.
Central Standard Time. Central Standard Time.
Well, that's what I was saying, because normally you'd say, well, remember, we're 2 hours ahead. Yeah, I remember that. Except, okay, so California wouldn't work because they're going to go anyway.
They're going to switch. Arizona.
They're going to switch everywhere, but Arizona does not. And parts of Indiana do not. So you still have that issue there. But what I'm saying is if we went with the permanent daylight savings or, permanent jump ahead time, whatever they call it, daylight savings time. Yeah. Well, not standard, but if we went with the permanent jumping ahead, this daylight savings time, the rest of the world does not. And then it makes it different. Now we're 5 hours behind England instead of 6, or I guess it would be 6 instead of 7.
Now our argument for staying on daylight standard time, I think, is pretty solid. But then again, I also have that argument for a 13-month calendar, but most people I don't think would get on that. I understand that, but if you look into that deeper, that also makes sense. But anyway, that's just me. I'm not gonna
13-month calendar. And 28 every day is 28 days.
Every month is 28 days, and then
every
you have
month.
one ought day every year. New Year's Day would be an ought day. Everyone has a day off. Reset. And here we go. Back.
Okay, so New Year's Day would not be called January 1st. It would be called
ought day or whatever. 00 day. Whatever you want to, we'll
so you could no longer still have New Year's Eve.
Well, yeah,
it'd still be New Year's Day.
And I'm not, and don't be confused. I'm not calling for a purge. That's not what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
I'm talking about calendar.
Sorry, February, you're done.
Well, there's the renaming of the months, because right now, think about it. October, Oct 8. Why is that the 10th month?
Because I told you last week, because we used to start in March. And if you start in March, then October would be the 8th month.
Yeah.
December would be the 10th month.
December should be the 10th month. I mean, Dec 10.
Right. September, the 7th month.
Do you want to give any shout outs before I jump into mine? I got a bunch of them this week, and we don't have a guest, so I'm kind of free reign on shout outs.
Well, we got to swing it. We got to let's talk some Packer football.
Let's talk some Packer football. The Green Bay Packers. A lot of fans are jumping off the bandwagon because we've had a bandwagon that's been building for 30 years because we've had two of the greatest quarterbacks to ever play the game. Yeah. And we're about to be into the post Aaron Rodgers. We're close. It was it next year, probably 2 years, maybe. I don't think he's going to fulfill all 3 years of the extension.
No, and I don't think he ever intended to. I think that was just because you had to have the contract. You flesh it out for a distance, and that takes the pressure off of your salary cap. So no, he never intended to fulfill 3 years. I don't think. I think 2 years is good. Now, have they won a Super Bowl this year, next year? Maybe he comes back for another one. Maybe. Okay, so I heard Colin Cowherd say something really good yesterday about the Packers. He tends to jump on the Packers a lot. He doesn't. It's a lot of people accuse him of not liking the Packers. No, he's just speaking his mind, and he's very good.
Thanks for chiming in from Tulsa. Here's your buddy Daniel.
Oh, hey Dan, how are you, buddy? Last night,
a little bit of Packers for everybody. Here we go.
All right, so here he said, this organization, 24 out of the last 30 years, they've been. That's said the organization is great. It's a great organization. Did they miss on Jordan Love? Yeah, they need to back out of that one. They need to trade him, get rid of him, and redraft. They need to do that. Hopefully next year they'll do that. This next draft coming up. They need to, and the other thing was they needed to get a wide receiver. I don't think Chase Claypool was the answer from junior. Actually, wasn't the answer for long term. But there were a few out there that they could have gotten, and they missed on it. But forget about that. They should have gotten a big name wide receiver out of the draft. Instead, you got Romeo Doubs from North Dakota State. Yeah, go ahead.
Question. The trade deadline is done, but Odell Beckham Jr. isn't signed with anybody. Could they still sign him? They can,
yes.
right?
Yes, of course.
He's still out there. He's still available.
He's still available, but he's recovering from an ACL injury, and that's one of the reasons why people don't want a chance on him. That and the fact that he creates a lot of everywhere he goes. And that's why he can catch a ball, and he can get deep. So get him and see what you got. That's what I say. Spend a little money. He'll probably fairly cheap. I don't think he's going to garner a whole lot of money, knowing that no one else is really knocking on his door. I mean, there's a couple teams, but you know what's going to happen? The Rams are maybe not the Rams. Maybe Philadelphia picks him up. Maybe Dallas might pick him up.
Yeah, I don't think Philadelphia will pick him up. I don't know if they'll chance messing with their chemistry right now because they are clicking on all cylinders.
Yeah, they are.
But some other team that if they got the cash, I mean, wouldn't that be something if he ended up in Miami with all the weapons they've got right now? If he had one more, I mean, whoa, that could be intensely crazy. Ended up. But anyway, the Packers, as dismal as they've been this first half of the season, I'm not giving up on my team. They're my team. And I'm not even giving up on them potentially making the playoffs if they get on a run. And if Dobbs stays healthy and starts clicking with Rodgers, they got a chance. If the rookie Walker, Christian Walker, if he gets healthy again, he's the speed threat that they need.
Yeah, he may be one of those that just is injury prone. This is the second injury he's had now in 7 games. So I don't know about that one. That one may be a miss. I don't know. He's got talent. You can tell that. But Aaron Rodgers also has to dial it back a little bit. Stop with thinking you're God. He's got such a God complex. Right. I don't know. He can go bye-bye, and I wouldn't care. All right, so here's I said last week I thought this was going to be a trip week or a trap game for Buffalo.
It almost was. You're right.
Well, yeah, but they were up 27-3 or 27-7, I guess it was 27-7. Hardly a trap game. it's not like it was, 14-13 going into the third, like midway through the third quarter.
No,
And then,
no.
so they kind of got a little lax. I mean, that game wasn't as close as the final score appeared. So I'll take that one. I just thought I saw something. Maybe not. But what I will say is that Aaron Rodgers is Aaron Rodgers. He's going to figure it out. You're going to get that game, and it's probably going to be this weekend against Detroit, where he's going to go off for 4 touchdowns. He's going to figure it out. Romeo Doubs is going to catch a couple touchdowns. I really believe that. And that is going to be the catalyst. Remember about 6 or 7 years ago, Aaron Rodgers said, relax. 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 Yeah. And they won 6 in a row. They made the playoffs, and they went to the NFC Championship game. And everybody's like, oh, my God, that's Aaron Rodgers. The guy is, namaste. I bow to you. I mean, I mean, my goodness gracious.
Well,
but I don't know if that's going to happen this year.
Yeah, I don't know that they've got the tools to actually make that happen this year. Even
I
Randall
think they
Cobb.
do. No, I think they do. That's the thing. The X factor is Romeo Doubs and Christian Walker. Remember, it took a little while for Devontae to become Devontae. It took a little while for Jordy to become Jordy. It wasn't even the first year. But Aaron Rodgers is a little different now than he was 8 years ago, 7, 8, 10 years ago, 12 years ago. It's been 12 years now since they won the Super Bowl. Jordy was a veteran then, but Aaron Rodgers was only a couple of years playing, and it did take them a little while. Maybe that process gets speeded up just a bit. Maybe there's a sense of urgency. That line is still pretty good, although it hasn't been looking very good. But I explained why that. Because they don't have the deep threat. Yeah, it's right. Get back on their heels and rush that extra guy. And that is why the line is looking bad. And that's why Aaron Rodgers is running for his life back there. Once you establish that deep threat, once you get Sammy Watkins, Romeo Doubs, Christian Watson, once you get them loose on the 75-yarder, then the defense is going to have to say, okay. We better stand back and watch out for that. That changes the dynamic of the game. That's going to happen. It's just a matter of when.
I just hope Aaron Rodgers has the fire in his belly to make that happen, because I'm not sure he's clicking with these young guys like he was with Adams.
Yeah.
I don't know that he's found his guy yet.
That's the other thing. Did he drink too much of that ayahuasca? And now, they say it mellows you out. It's like, I don't know. I'm just happy to be here, but I want everybody to do their job. Well, hey, Aaron, how about you doing your job? You are a professional football player, quarterback of the Green Bay Packers, one of only 32 in the entire United States, world, whatever. And you have a job to do, and that's work with your young guys. Work with them. So you decided you didn't want to practice. That's what happens when you decide you don't want to practice. So,
last year you could get away with completely blowing game 1 of the season and then picking up and running, but that obviously has not happened this year. Packers Lions this Sunday. They're the noon game. Bears also play at noon, so I have to find a place to watch the game somewhere. Probably I don't have the NFL network stuff at home. But yeah, Packers Lions.
Wait a minute. Wait. So the Packers Lions game is not on regular TV?
Well, the Bears are also playing at noon, so locally.
Oh, you're right. All right. Well, I don't want to put you on the spot, but you want to go somewhere, you and me? Legends or something? We went there before.
We might just do that.
All right.
And I really enjoyed, I think I mentioned this a couple weeks ago, really enjoyed going to Fozzie's to watch the game.
Fozzie's works for me.
Fozzie's might be the place to go. All right. Here's some shout outs for you this week. I got a bunch of them, and I'm going to start with the business stuff. Team Sold on Tony, Keller Williams Realty Signature. Had a great week. Thanks to past clients. Thanks to our bold class that we're taking right now, which has been a lot of fun. I want to give shout outs to the Holston family, and also to Mike and Jody, both getting houses under contract this last week. One's been looking for quite a while. The other just started and bam, got one right away. So kudos to them. And then I got another offer sitting out there that I'm hoping gets accepted today. The market right now is a lot different than it was 2 months ago. Okay. 2 and 3 months ago. 2 and 3 months ago, we still had sellers putting their houses on the market. And if they're priced right, they were getting 8 to 10 to 12 offers. Okay. That was normal 2 and 3 months ago. Even as close as about 2 months ago. That's not the case anymore. Okay. We still have a lot of sellers and even some agents. Some of these, I'll just say probably mostly the younger or the less experienced agents are still trying to act like we're in the market from 3 months ago, and we're not. It's completely changed. So sellers now, if they're pricing too high, they're sitting on the market. They're sitting on the market for 2 and 3 and 4 weeks. And I just showed a couple of houses yesterday that have been on the market for a month and a half, 2 months. Okay. Because they priced them too high. So homes priced right are still getting multiple offers, but instead of 8 or 10 or 12, they're getting 2 or 3 or 4. So that's a switch. That's a shift. That's what's happening right now. And the current market is very different than it was even 3 months ago. And I had to explain to somebody here this week too, that appraisals, when appraisers appraise a house, okay, we got a house under contract this week, and the appraiser is going to go out probably next week or the week after to do the appraisal. They're looking at prices on houses that sold and closed within the last 6 months. Just because a house in that neighborhood sold a year and a half ago for some astronomical price, the appraiser's not necessarily going to look at that house. Okay.
That's not even an adequate comp, is it?
It's the market of the moment. It's what's happening now.
Yeah. Right.
And they don't want to look. They don't want to look past 6 months if they don't have to. They might look back a year sometimes, but they really don't want to do that. They want current information. So you've got to understand the market of the moment. That actually means something. I'm not trying to feed you some line to try to try to bend you to my way of thinking. I'm just trying to explain and educate you what actually happens. And some folks are a little bit on the stubborn side, I guess. They want to keep living in the market we were in 3 and 6 months ago, and that's gone. That's history. You got to live in the market we're in now. But so congratulations to Halstons and to Mike and Jody for their thing. Oh, and the Heldreths closed on their house this week, which is a really cool story. I won't get into all the deep details, but this was the third closing I had this year where the renter bought their house from the landlord. They've been renting for years. The landlord was like, you know what? You've been wonderful renters. I'm ready to be done with this property. I'm going to sell it to you at a price that makes sense for both of us and move on. And so happy for the Heldreth family. They're absolutely thrilled to have their house. Last Sunday, the wife and I, after doing church and some business stuff I had to do, we went out to Poplar Grove and we caught some of the bear game out at the Hideout. We've talked about the Hideout before.
Oh yeah.
On Poplar Grove. Great food at the Hideout and a great place to watch big screens. We sat a couple tables away from Lonnie the carpet guy. He was there with his buddies watching the game too.
Really?
Yeah. So that was a great food and always enjoy stopping out at the Hideout. We do that times once in a while. Well,
I got a funny story to tell you about that, and then I'll let you back to what you're doing. I was golfing, and I think I was in. Excuse me. I was up in golfing. Yeah, sure. Never. I was up at Kruger Haskell Golf Course a month ago with my buddy Ron. Not the Ron that you and I know. Yeah, different Ron. There are more than one Ron in the world. I didn't know that. Apparently. Yeah, it's weird. Anyway, I found a golf ball with Lonnie's picture on it. It's probably his golf ball.
I've seen one, but I don't think I've ever had one. That's funny.
And so I got it. I have it in my car, and I was going to stop into Lonnie's Carpet Connection and give it to him. So,
even better, ask him to sign it so that you can keep it as a memento.
Oh my God, that's a really good idea. That's really cool.
Would you sign this for me?
But no, I think I'll just give it. I just think what a great story,
Last piece of business thing this week is I just want to remind the past clients, our sold on Tony clients. Every year for the past, well, I've been with Tony for 9 years, and every year that I've been with Tony, we've done Thanksgiving pie giveaway day for all of our past clients. So if you have done business with Team Sold on Tony, whether it's been in the last year or 9 years ago, we want to thank you again for doing business with our team and give you a free pie for Thanksgiving. So our pie day's coming up. You've gotten your invitation either by postcard or email. And if you didn't get that yet and you're one of my clients, you've purchased a home with me, or you've referred, you've sold a house with our team through me. Let me know if you didn't get the pie invitation, because I want you to get your free pie for Thanksgiving. It's one of those great big pumpkin ones. It's so yummy. It's good stuff. So pie day's coming up. Went to my dentist. My opening quote this week for the show was, "No compliment lands quite like the dental hygienist telling you you're doing a great job." I was at my dentist this week, and Soltis is a great dentist in town. If you need a dentist, if you need a family dentist, check out Soltis. And the hygienist said I was doing a great job, except for one little area, and I got a little coaching on to do a little better brushing on one little area of my mouth. Other than that, I'm doing a good job.
All right.
Up on the back. And then we saw them that night at the Hairspray musical at Coronado Performing Arts Center Thursday night, which was a blast. If you missed Hairspray, wow, it was crazy high energy show. There's a lot of shows going on at Coronado. In fact, tonight I think is it Foo Fighters? Someone's at Coronado tonight. There's a rock show tonight. I can't remember who it was, but I think it's Foo Fighter. A couple more shout outs. Thanks to the Medicare 411 for helping my mother-in-law figure out her Medicare situation. The first company we tried to go through, that didn't work out. We're going with the second company. That one's going to work out. So thanks to Cindy over at Medicare 411. And then Christian Life Schools had their annual mother-daughter ball. Mother-son date night was last night, which I think you've DJ'd once in the past years ago.
I did. The kids were wild, breaking balloons and running around. It was like, oh my God.
Yeah. So last night they had the balloons all over the place again, and of course they kind of pop here and there and there, and they're like, should we tell them to stop popping? I was like, they're gonna pop them all anyway, so just let them pop. Maybe next year we just don't have balloons for the boys' dance. The girls aren't so crazy to pop them all right away. But what we did last night, we got a big group picture of all the moms and sons. And then right after, this was near the end of the night. This was like 8:10, whatever. Then the party ends at 8:30. And then right after the group picture, I said, okay. And the last announcement of the night is time to pop all the balloons, get them done. And they just went crazy popping all the balloons. Boom. Within about a minute and a half, they were all gone and done. So, the last thing before we bring Joann in, she's ready and standing by over at PAWS. If you have not looked into voting for this Tuesday, if you're kind of confused about what to do in the voting booth, you need to do some research. And I know I got in the mail, I don't know, was it a month ago? We all got in the mail about a month or so ago, the description of what amendments, the constitutional amendment, Amendment 1, the first thing that's going to be on the ballot is, do you want to pass a constitutional amendment? And I forget what number it is, but the bottom line is it'll be the first thing on your ballot. Amendment 1, yes or no, should we pass this constitutional amendment? And it boils down to giving government unions way more control over our government.
But they make it sound like it's unions giving more control for unions. Right. It's government unions.
The commercials are so misleading, and it's really, really sad. If you want higher taxes, then you'll vote yes on this amendment. If you want lower taxes or to not have higher taxes, you'll vote no. I'm telling you right now, I'm voting no on Amendment 1.
As am I.
The commercials make it look like, nurses and doctors and construction workers that are in unions are going to benefit from this. No, this is about government union workers basically getting more control over our government. And I say no to that.
Okay,
No.
so here's the way. I just have a couple of quick comments on this. Number one, if you are like me and you're a little ADD and you're listening to this stuff and it's all a jumbled mess in your head, rely on somebody you trust. Hey, Bob, what do you think about this? Well, Bob's researched it. He can tell you. If you trust Bob, it's okay to say, you know what, I'm gonna vote no as well. Do you trust Greg? Greg, I trust you implicitly. Yes. I haven't researched it nearly as much as you because it is a jumbled mess. They deliberately give you that lawyer speak. So it throws you off. They do it every single year. So I tend to back off of that. But I am voting no. I've researched this one enough. I've heard you say it. I've heard enough people say it. Vote no. I'm not telling anybody how to vote. I'm simply saying I have learned what I needed to learn, and I'm voting no. Here's the other thing. I know that in this, and I'm really tired of every other commercial being, how rotten and horrible Esther Joy King is. No, I've met her. And I didn't person, but I was at the rally. Wonderful.
Yeah, she's a great person.
A wonderful one. And the lies that are being told about her are just unbelievable. So here's what I'm asking you to do. Listen to the commercial. Don't just mute it. Take a day and just purpose to listen to the commercials and listen to what's being said. If you agree with what's being said, fine, then go vote the opposite. But if you think about it and say, you know what, is she really that bad? And I'm not just talking about her. I'm talking about every single candidate because both sides do it. The Democrats say this bad thing about the Republicans say this bad thing about the Democrats. Somewhere therein lies the truth. So listen to it and research it. You owe that to yourself. You owe that to your country. And that's what I've been doing. And I've been listening and watching and trying to decipher who's telling the truth. Now I know which side I fall on. Obviously, I'm Republican, I'm conservative, obviously. So, but that doesn't mean that I'm going to vote for every single Republican out there because there are some that I just don't like. Adam Kinzinger is one. I do not like him. He's not running anymore. He's done. Thank God. He's a rhino, Republican in name only. I will not vote for him. I will not vote for a Democrat as long as you buy the party line, as long as you are for abortion, as long as you are for, more government, as long as you are telling me that gas prices are down, that inflation doesn't exist, and that it's some sort of a Republican right-wing conspiracy like Hillary Clinton said. That is just a lie. And like the example I used, and I'll be done in a second. The example I used, Greg, is, Billy, did you do your homework? Oh, yeah. When I got home, I worked on my bike. I did my homework. No, Billy, that's a lie. You didn't do your homework. You knew exactly what I was asking, but you kind of covered it up. So anyway, that's my whole point. And you know what? Even if you are not pro-life like myself, you can be on the other side. That's fine. But there are other issues to look at. There are other issues. So be very careful. Don't just go, well, you know what? I saw this commercial and, well, that Esther Joy King, boy, she's a rotten person. No. She can't be as bad as that commercial says. She cannot be. So research it, please. And it isn't just about Esther. It's about all kinds of people on the ballot. Do a little bit of homework. This only comes once every 2 years. The general elections like we have. So.
I have a little bit of hope. The last time we had an issue like this that they pushed a couple years ago, was it 2 years or 4 years ago? I forget which it was, that Illinois tried to put something else through that would have raised taxes. The word got out and people went, oh yeah, we don't want this. As many millions of dollars as the Democrats were spending on that bill that they were trying to get through.
It was probably 2 and 4. Every 2 years they come up with something like this. This whole thing is on the ballot every time. So anyway.
Well, hey, let's drop the political talk and get into some other stuff and bring in Joann over at the PAWS Humane Society. Good morning, Joann. Hello.
Good morning.
Hey, I've got a question for both of you guys, and I don't know if you're going to have. Tom might have an answer for this. I'm curious if Joann will have an answer for this. Is there a piece of memorabilia from a movie that you would pay a ton of money for if you had the money, and you saw something that went up for sale, piece of movie memorabilia? Can you think of something that you would want? And the reason I'm asking this,
and I wouldn't.
My originally was thinking sports, but then I realized I was talking movies.
Okay, because
movie.
Garland's ruby slippers.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, that's pretty good. Anything Back to the Future, anything.
Okay. I like
the
that
DeLorean may or may not work, but because I don't have a place to put it, my garage is full of junk.
What's funny about that, Tom, is at least twice in the last 9 years, while showing homes in the Rockford area, I've come across a DeLorean in someone's garage.
Wow.
Like, that's really cool.
Did it have a flux capacitor?
I would have put one on. No, one had something that looked like it, kind of a fake one. The other one was just a stripped down version of a DeLorean. But the reason we're asking, there's a massive pulp culture memorabilia auction going on right now. And among the items for sale are these things. The Holy Bible that was used in the movie The Shawshank Redemption.
Wow.
That's up for sale. Darth Vader's gloves from Star Wars A New Hope, like the very first Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
Darth Vader's gloves up for auction. And Tom already mentioned it, Marty McFly's hoverboard from Back to the Future Part 2.
Ooh, baby. Yeah.
I'm thinking something even as obscure as the suit that Huey Lewis wore in his cameo in Back to the Future. If that's out there somewhere, what would you pay for the suit? That'd be kind of cool. Here's a benchmark just to give you an idea of what some of this stuff is going to be going for. The volleyball, the prop volleyball,
Castaway,
from the Tom Hanks movie Castaway. I knew you were going to get there. When that sold at auction just recently, it got $83,828.
Well said. I'll be right back. I got to get my charger. I'm so sorry. I should have done it before.
Charger. That part in the movie when he loses Wilson and it just breaks him. Oh, it's so sad. It's just so sad. I mean, he's going to come back. I'm pretty sure I shed a tear when that happened to Tom Hanks' character in Castaway when he lost Wilson.
That was very dramatic. Is that the right word? Because that volleyball kept him going.
Right. That volleyball and the box that he said he was still going to deliver was so important to him. All right. Tom's plugging in. He's going to make some noise. And making sure this
battery, here's the funny thing about computers. If you leave your laptop plugged in all the time, battery just is no good after a while. And that's what's happened. When I bought this, I bought it used, and whoever had it before, it was a bad battery when I bought it. It was fine. I got it for a good price. So
I told you the story about trying to replace the battery on my old Dell. Did I tell you that story on the show?
I don't know. Go ahead and tell it.
I have an old Dell laptop that I bought probably 14 or 15 years ago. I mean, it's old, and it was used at the time, right? Mm-hmm. So to replace that battery would be crazy expensive. They just don't make them anymore. So I took the machine. I was having some problems with it. I took the machine to someone here in town, and I said, "Can I use this without the battery? Is there, what would you suggest I do?" And they insisted on running some diagnostics on my machine. They charged me money to run these diagnostics, which I don't even think they ran, because they, a couple of days later, told me on the phone, yeah, this machine is all but dead. To recover all the information from it was going to cost nearly $200. And I'm like, I'm not going to do that.
I know exactly where you went, by the way.
I was not happy. And then a day later, I was like, you know what? I'm going to try this again with somebody else. So I went back and I retrieved my machine. Thankfully, they hadn't scrapped it yet. Thank God they hadn't scrapped it yet. I took it to someone else. I took it over to PC Tech to you, the guys over on Alpine and Hillcrest. Highcrest. Thank you. Highcrest and Alpine. I took it to PC Tech to you and I said, can I run this without the battery? And in front of me, they popped the battery off completely. And he said, I'm going to look this up online and see what else I can find for you on this, but let's give it a run. Plugged everything in, fired it up, got it running with the battery off of it completely. And it worked just fine. It took a while to load up, but it worked. And he looked for a battery to replace it. He said, yeah, the expense on the buying a replacement battery is probably more than you want to spend. You're probably going to spend up towards $300 to get a battery that might actually work.
Because it'd be an aftermarket battery. I went through the same thing. I went to the exact same place that you went to, and we're not going to mention the name, obviously, but I got charged $150, $130, I guess, $129 for 2 items that I brought in. They had to run a diagnostic on both of them, and they did nothing. They couldn't fix either of the 2 things. One was a computer and the other was an external hard drive.
We have these new models over here if you want to buy one of those.
Yeah. I walked out of there having spent $130
for nothing.
Plus tax, actually. So maybe almost 140 and got nothing. Absolutely nothing. I will never go there again. And I won't say who it was.
So there's that. And for that. We already kind of talked about this stuff. Other sports leagues, this is an interesting story this week. Other sports leagues are experimenting with high-tech stadiums and crypto sponsorships, but the NHL is doing something a little different. Their concept is tiny homes. Have you heard about the Phoenix Coyotes?
I know who they are, but haven't heard it.
The Phoenix Coyotes recently made their home debut in the NHL in a 5,000-seat capacity. It's called the Mullet Arena, a stadium that they're going to temporarily be sharing with the owner of the arena, the Arizona State University hockey team. The Coyotes were evicted from their home stadium.
Oh, geez.
Gila River Arena, back in December, the Coyotes have not been making their lease payments, so they got evicted. This is an NHL franchise, and they're going to be playing at Mullet Stadium now for at least the next 3 years. The good news is every game is going to be probably a sellout. How many does the BMO Center seat? Doesn't it like 6?
Close to 10,000.
Well, now that it's been redone, the way that it's redone, I don't think it seats that many anymore. Because that whole one end is all restaurant now, and the suites.
Oh, okay. I have not been in there in years. At its heyday capacity when it was the Metro Center, it was close to 10,000, like maybe 9,600.
For Lightning games.
So
for Lightning basketball games.
For Lightning basketball games, absolutely. And there were packed houses a couple of times.
Matt Nestor maybe can fill us in on Nestor.
Yeah, we should get Matt on the show.
He should come back on. We went to a Hogs game last weekend, week or so ago, but it had a blast. They're playing again tonight, by the way. They play tonight against the Griffins. That's a 7:00 start, and then tomorrow at 4, the Iowa Wild is in Rockford. Yes, the Wild takes on the Ice Hogs tomorrow at 4. Tonight is the Griffins from Grand Rapids, and the Ice Hogs have been playing really well. So if you haven't been to a game yet, even when they're not playing well, you still want to go because it's a blast. They have so much fun.
Yeah.
All right, quick randoms here. Please don't do that screen. All right, my screen wanted to block me. All right, quick randoms before we get to all things PAWS. Back in September. September's done, by the way. We're in November now. We've September, October, November. Back in September, Americans spent about $87 billion dining out. That's about 11.5% up from last year, even while the price of food at full service restaurants is up almost 9% compared to last year. Americans are still dining out and they're paying the price for it. Want to give you a best of luck and shout out to anybody who's running the New York City Marathon tomorrow. It's the biggest marathon in the world. About 50,000 runners run the New York City Marathon, and the route spans 5 bridges and goes through all 5 boroughs of New York City. I'm sure we have some Rockford connections. So if you have a friend or a friend of a friend that's running in the marathon tomorrow, please let us know in the comments so we can cheer them on and yeah, put it in the comments. Speaking of sports, also that is crazy awesome. Katie Ledecky set a new world record this week for the 1,500 meter freestyle. The U.S. Olympic swimmer demolished the old record by almost 10 seconds.
Oh, wow.
And she finished the race 40 seconds ahead of the second place runner-up swimmer. Katie Ledecky is amazing. She is a machine of a swimmer.
She is. She's won a couple of golds, I believe.
She's won a bunch of golds. She's going to win a bunch more in the next games as long as she stays healthy, and she has been. So kudos to Katie Ledecky and demolishing the 1,500 meter freestyle. It's the short there. This was the short pool version. They were swimming in the 25 meter pool because there's also in the Olympics, they swim in the 50 meter pool.
Right.
But either way, she 40 seconds ahead of the second place swimmer, which is what, a lap and a half, maybe 2 laps, something crazy like that.
Yeah.
This is fallback weekend. Clocks fall back this weekend, which is why I have hashtag fallback in my name description today. Tuesday, please vote unless you did already, or if you don't know what you're doing, then yeah, just skip it. But do some research, please.
Research it or skip it. One of the two. Don't just go in there and say, "Well, that guy's name."
Yeah. I'm going to put in the chat a link to something that those of us who got into, started using computers in the 90s, we all played a game called the Oregon Trail. Remember the Oregon Trail?
Yeah, I remember it.
So the Oregon Trail was hilarious. My roommate in college had a computer, had a desktop, and he would let me play Oregon Trail once in a while on his machine. And it was this very 2-dimensional question game.
Kind of animated, sort of.
Very 80s, 90s low-tech animation. Hardly really sad. But the game basically was you're going to Oregon on the Oregon Trail back in the old Western days. How do you want to go? Do you want to go as, are you going to be a banker? Are you going to be a farmer? Are you going to be a hunter? What are you going to be? Pick your profession, pick the resource. Here you have limited resources, and then you pick this stuff, and then everybody died of dysentery halfway there. So, so the new Oregon Trail that I posted the link to, it's an Oregon Trail game where dysentery consequences are realistic. You're not just going to die. They're going to tell you the truth about what happened to people with dysentery. It's gross, but it's funny. And so check out realistic description version of the Oregon Trail. And if nothing else, if you played with computers in the 90s, it'll give you some nostalgia because all the graphics are the same. It's a lot of fun. And finally, your odds of winning the Powerball $1.6 billion jackpot today are about 1 in 292 million. Basically, that means you're more likely to be killed by a vending machine than win the lottery. But I bought a ticket anyway, so there you go. For stuff that's happening around Rockford, real quick here, we want to remind you that Delicate Forces exhibit at the Nicholas Conservatory and Gardens comes to an end this weekend. If you haven't seen it yet, this is your last chance today and tomorrow. Today and tomorrow 10 to 3. I'm sorry, they close at 3 o'clock on Saturdays. The wonder-filled world of delicate forces, botanically inspired, large-scale art exhibition by Skunk Control, a group of engineers, scientists, and educators from Australia. And the Delicate Forces exhibit comes to an end this weekend. And then they'll move on to probably all the Christmas decorations. Already mentioned that the Ice Hogs have games this weekend, tonight at 7 and tomorrow at 4 down at the BMO. And there's a Bowling for the Troops fundraiser tonight at Don Carter Lanes on East State Street. It starts at 6:30, check-in at 5:30. The cost is $50 per couple for walk-ins. It's $40 with a reservation. It might be early enough. Maybe you can still sign up online and get the reservation and save $10. But either way, this is a fundraiser. So if you go, you're supporting veterans. You're supporting BVL, which is Brightening Veterans' Lives. You're supporting our local Vietnam Veterans America Chapter 984. They send deluxe care packages to our active duty troops all the time. You would also be supporting the Companion Dog and Cat Program and the Veterans Drop-In Center. Your admission price includes the bowling. It includes dinner, and they're also going to have a live band playing out in the lanes while you're bowling. So it's like a total fun rock party, bowl party. Great time at Don Carter Lanes tonight. Check-in at 5:30, starts at 6:30. Bowl, eats, win prizes, bid on silent auction items, and all that fun stuff that you do out there. And then finally, let's see if I can share the screen on this one. There's the Mom Strong Mama Market that's happening today. 6th annual market featuring over 50 local business owning moms. Silent auction fundraiser for the Pregnancy Care Center of Rockford from 9 to 3 today. That's at Central Christian Church on Guilford Road. They're right next door to Midway Village Museum Center. Unique handmade items, your favorite home-based brands, the Mom Strong Mama Market at Central Christian Church. That's today from 9 until 3. Boom, ba-doom, ba-doom. So there you go. I think that is everything I wanted to jump on this week as far as shout outs go. And that leaves us about 10 minutes or so to do all things PAWS and do our big number of the week. Are you ready for that?
Could be.
I'm ready.
Joanne's already been testing her camera to make sure she can flip it around and get it in the right direction, right?
I can take you around my house, show you my 4 animals, 2 dogs, 2 cats.
One of these weeks, we're all just gonna do our show on a phone and just do a tour of wherever we are.
There you go.
Your wife would kill you if your house wasn't clean.
Well, I got something special coming up in a couple weeks, and if it works, and I think it will work, but I'm not going to let the cat out of the bag, or the cat out of the cage, I should say, and PAWS. I'm not going to let the cat out of the cage. That's going to happen later. All right, let's put up the PAWS logo. Bingo. And walk around PAWS. Oh, I want to add some music too. Where's my music?
Yeah, I want to say Lulu was adopted on, I can't remember what day, Tuesday or Wednesday. So Lulu has her second trial. Hopefully, I haven't heard anything. So hopefully,
Lulu.
Oh, did I?
We're very happy for Lulu.
Something to show that.
Well, oh yeah, poster. Flip that around there. Mirror.
Oh. If you can read backwards, you're doing good.
So that's last month's tally right there, right? That's October's board.
Yes.
Yeah, October's November, and then it just started November down.
November is Cece and Vera, and November, Lulu made the November list.
Yay!
So we have 4 dogs already adopted in November. So there you go. Now I need to X that out. So I had Lulu for 4 months, so that was a long time to have a foster.
Mm-hmm.
But she was a senior citizen, and we have another people, special kudos to people who adopt senior dogs or cats.
We have a friend that adopted a senior dog, and she just loves posting about his life and and quirks.
Yeah, the people who adopted Lulu were very surprised at how frisky she was. Because, she wasn't looking like a 10-year-old, is what they felt.
She's got some life in her. She's still got some life in her.
So, I'm not sure when we're getting dogs from the South again.
That seems to happen every like couple months, right? About every 2 months or so.
Once a month, I think.
Oh, wow.
Every 6 weeks, maybe. Enjoying breakfast, yeah. Kind of quiet here today.
I haven't put in the chat for a while the number and the website address for PAWS. I'm going to do that today. I haven't done that in a while. 815-299-PAWS, the number. PAWSHS.org, the website.
Okay, so that's kind of a quick run through PAWS. We're quiet here today, like I said.
All right, there's your trip around all things PAWS Humane Society. PAWSHS.org, PAWSHS.org is the awesome website. And it won't be long now, and we'll be promoting the fact that the fur ball is coming up. That's in February. Yeah.
So I can't get back to normal.
You're clicking. You've got to find your camera switch.
I know. I keep going to full screen, and I don't think that's it.
No. You're already full screen. You just need to reverse your camera. Whatever the little circles that are going around in circles, the arrows in circles, that's the one you want to touch. The arrows going in circles. It is time for our big number of the week. So I'm going to play the video, see if this works again. I like it. All right, big number of the week. There she is. It really is a big number. It is 16.7 billion. Yes, 16.7 billion is the big number of the week. And this week's answer is mattress or midterms. Mattress or midterms. Place your bets. Make your guess right now. What is the answer? And
I checked Google. I did my best research. Right. I'm going mattress.
All right, 3, 2, 1, go. Tom's
mattress.
Midterms.
All right. Joanne's going to go midterms, so one of you is going to get a point here today. All right, that's good. So while we're giving you the answer, let me change this. Okay, so have you heard about the World Series bet by Jim the Mattress Mac McIngvale, a Texas furniture mogul? He's known for placing.
Yes, I have.
He's placed huge bets on sports in the past. He wagered about $10 million on the Astros to win the World Series. If he wins, he will earn almost $75 million, the largest payout on a legal sports bet ever in the United States. Mattress Mac is on the cusp of winning $75 million on his, I think it was 9.8 million, if I remember right, it was 9.5 or 9.8 million that he wagered for the Astros to win the World Series. So, yay, congratulations. Joann gets a point. Oh my gosh, we got a game now. It's 7-5.
Whoa.
2022 midterm elections, of course, are coming up here this Tuesday, and they're projected to cost $16.7 billion, the most expensive midterm race ever. It's a lot of money spent to get people in office and screw things up. All right, kids.
This is crazy. You know, everybody talks about what we could do with that money. Yeah, I know what we could do with that money. You could feed a lot of people. You could, whatever. It's so ridiculous. 16.7 billion.
A lot spent to be in control. again, when in doubt, when in doubt about something that's, voting on or what your politicians are doing, when in doubt, follow the money.
That's right.
That's just the unfortunate truth. All right, friends. Remember, you change the world when you help one person. Be a blessing to someone this week. We'll try to do the same. Meet you back here next week for another Saturday morning Stateline show. Thanks, Tom. Thanks, Joann. Have a great week.
All right. Bye-bye.
All right. We'll see you later. Greg, if you want to stick around for a minute, we can talk about football tomorrow. Otherwise, I can call you.
Stand by.
All right.